This is Smart Poker Study, episode 191, Fixing the Leak of Ignoring Your Physical Health. In last week's episode number 190, I answered 3 questions about improving your 3-bet game, defending against 3-bets, and late-stage MTT strategies. It's poker study time, y'all. Thank you so much for lending me your ears this week, my friends. So I just watched, or actually rewatched, Stranger Things, both seasons 1 and 2 with my boys. Admittedly, we did do a little bit of binge watching, 2 or 3 episodes per day, but it was a ton of fun. I guess I did avoid a little bit of poker studies and poker play because of the binge watching, but we still had a really good time. It was my boys' first time really watching through Stranger Things, and they totally enjoyed it. We're all looking forward to season 3, and I think this is a gateway into movies like horror movies like It for my boys. You know, Stranger Things has some kind of scarier horror elements to it, but for the most part, they're young kids going on an adventure, a scary adventure and stuff. So now that they're used to that, maybe I can show them It, which was a great movie. I watched it by myself while I was in Vegas. Freaking loved it. I love the interplay between just, teenage kids, like doing real teenage kids things, talking about real stuff, but then going on this crazy adventure and solving real world kind of adult problems and saving lives and stuff, just really fun movie. I might show it to the boys sometime soon. Not really sure just yet. We'll get to the poker content in just a minute, but I do want to thank my newest Patreon subscriber or supporter. His name is Brian Spencer. He decided to support like a couple weeks ago or so. So thank you very much for that, Brian. I do appreciate it. I love creating this weekly show for everybody, and the time I spend creating it, it's supported by everyone like Brian Spencer, everybody on Patreon. So thank you very much for that support. And this past week, I just sent out the rewards for June, the support rewards for June. One was a podcast and the other a training video. The podcast was all about my live MTT tips, all the things that I do pre-live MTT and during the live MTT in order to hopefully, make it into the money and, take down a tournament. So that's what the podcast was. The training video, I showed you how to learn from winning players using your database of hands. So in the video, found one of my winning opponents, one of my winningest opponents, actually a very loose aggressive player as well. Went through the database, looked at his showdown hands, went through 30 different showdown hands, and figured out how he was playing his hands, whether he was aggressive or not with draws, how he was betting his top pair hands, the kind of opponents he was targeting with his open raises, his different sizing used. I mean, we learned a lot about this opponent. Good stuff that will help us in 2 different ways. One, to exploit this opponent and other opponents like him. And the other thing was to learn how we can adapt our play to be a more winning player at the stakes like this guy is. So once you begin your support on Patreon, you will get the current month's reward as well as access to the archive of patron-only content. So for just a few dollars a month, which is often less than 1 buy-in, you will be supporting the show and you'll receive some valuable poker content in return. So to start your support, visit patreon.com/smartpokerstudy. Alrighty, let's get healthy. You know you should, so what's the holdup? Maybe the pizza and the Netflix are just too good to say no to. Well, in today's episode, I'm going to discuss the whys, the whats, and the hows of getting healthy. So please visit the show notes page for everything I discussed today, along with screenshots and links at www.smartpokerstudy.com/pod191. And while you're there, you can sign up for the weekly boost for exclusive poker strategy direct to that inbox. Well, let's do this! Gambate!
This is damn exciting stuff.
So let's start this with a question. Why is ignoring your physical health a poker leak? Well, I believe that to mentally perform at your peak, you've got to be in good physical shape. We all know that a healthy body and a healthy mind go hand in hand. But why do so many of us not live this truth? Why are there so many out of shape and unhealthy poker players? Are you one of these players? Do you spend time daily studying and playing poker, but maybe you never exercise, you get terrible sleep, you eat crap and drink sugar all day long, and maybe you stay indoors all day as well? Well, human beings, they're made up of 2 things, I think, body and mind. If both of these are working at their peak level, then you are more likely to succeed in whatever you want to do. So for example, if you're a football player, you'd be a better football player If your mind is working well enough so that you can remember football plays and that you can react accordingly to how your opponents are moving on the field, if you pair this with a strong body that's up to the task of tackling or running through your opponents, then you will have a better chance of helping your team to victory. The same thing holds true for poker players. You want your mind nimble and spry enough so that you can play the player, think through a hand, and make positive EV decisions. You also want your body healthy enough so that you can endure long sessions at the tables or have energy after work to play and study with focus. So that's all the why for improving your physical health. Now for the whats and the hows. So there are 4 major aspects to improving your physical health. Number 1 is to eat better. Number 2 is to move more. Number 3 is to sleep more. And number 4 is to get some sun. I'm going to discuss each of these in turn right now. I'll dive into the what on each of them, and then also how to easily incorporate them into your life. So first up is eating better. Now, there are 2 aspects to this: what you eat and what you leave on the supermarket shelf. What I'm about to discuss are generally good foods to eat, but don't take this as gospel. Do your own research and figure out what's best for you and your body. We're all individuals, as you know, and what's good for me may not be good for you. Just use your common sense and do a little digging on the internet or speak to a nutritionist for a little bit of help. So here's a list of items that you should be eating. First up is proteins. You want to dig into eggs, steak, chicken with the skin on, fish, bacon, and sausage, any kind of good, healthy proteins. Also, there's some good dairy items for you like cheese, actually full-fat hard kind of cheeses, full-fat plain yogurt, cottage cheese, and heavy whipping cream in your coffee is always good. Also, you want to dig into the vegetables, but stay away from starchy ones like potatoes and carrots and corn as well. Anything green is good, anything leafy as well. You also want to eat plenty of fats like butter, olive oil, and avocados. And of course, drink water, coffee, and tea. And here's a list of what not to eat. You want to stay away from anything with sugar or grains. Sugars and grains, they have the effect of making you feel hungrier, so you end up eating more. They also cause insulin and glucose spikes, and your body automatically converts these into fat stores for future energy needs. Sugar also causes internal inflammation, causing some of those daily aches and pains that you feel. You also want to stay away from anything with a label that says low fat or low calories or diet. Fat's good for you and contains a lot of calories. If they remove the fat, they're replacing it with sugar or chemicals to trick your mind into consuming it and trick your mind into liking it. And lastly, avoid those sodas and juices. Basically, stop drinking sugar and calories. Now for the how to eat better. The first thing is throw out all the crap in your fridge and in your home on the shelves that you shouldn't be eating. If you live with other people, it might be difficult to do. But stick to your guns and clear an area in your fridge and on one of your shelves to hold your healthy kind of foods that you are going to consume. If you have to eat different things from the rest of your family, so be it. Don't try to change them. They're going to begin eating healthier as you lead by example and start losing weight and getting in better shape. You also want to do most of your food shopping around the outside edges of your supermarket. Those inner aisles are full of processed foods, so stay away from them. It might be easy for some people to make the necessary changes when it comes to mealtime, but for others, especially if you eat with your family, it can be pretty darn tough. I recommend making changes one meal period at a time. Start with breakfast, of course. No more cereals or sugar and chemical-filled coffee creamers. No more bagels or donuts either. Eat sausage and eggs instead, and put a little bit of heavy whipping cream and a tiny bit of sugar in your coffee, if you must sweeten it. After you do this for a few weeks and you learn that skipping those cereals, the pancakes, and you skip the donuts, you learn that that won't kill you, make a change to your lunches. So for lunch, no more sandwiches, no more pizza, burgers, or even leftover spaghetti. Have meat and cheese roll-ups with leftover broccoli, maybe a lettuce-wrapped burger, or leftover grilled chicken instead. After a few weeks of this, change up your dinner items. Gradual changes are easier to handle. And here's a valuable resource for you. Go to vinnytortorich.com. This is where I learned about the NSNG, or no sugar, no grains lifestyle. Vinny also has a great podcast, and you can hear his advice weekly on the Adam Carolla Show as well. Alrighty, the next thing you need to do is move more. And this is basically getting yourself on an exercise program. There are many physical benefits that come with exercise. If you exercise and stay active, you have stronger bones, stronger joints, and stronger muscles. These all help your quality of life as you get older as well. And with more muscle on your body, you'll burn more calories to help you manage your weight a little bit better. And good physical health also lowers your blood pressure and blood cholesterol. And being physically fit reduces the risk of heart attack. There are plenty more reasons to get in good physical shape, and I'm not going to list them all here. But as you know, poker is a mind game. So how does exercise help your mind? Well, exercise creates new brain cells through a process called neurogenesis. These new cells help to improve your brain performance. Exercise also develops a healthy body, which improves your memory. And being physically fit also prevents brain decline due to age. Yep, I'm 40 years old, and I can use all the brain help I can get, let me tell you. Also, a healthy body helps you get more stuff done. It fires up your brain, and you're more inspired and more creative. You also have more energy, so that should translate to getting shit done. And exercise improves self-confidence. It reduces stress, and it punches depression right in its ugly face. And of course, there's plenty more benefits beyond these. So when it comes to choosing your exercise activities, do what works for you. Whether it's running, lifting weights, kettlebells, swimming, or biking, it truly doesn't matter. As long as you love it, you're more likely to do it on a daily basis. Stretching is also a great practice. Before and after exercise for sure, we all know that. But occasionally step back from your desk at work or stand up from your couch during Stranger Things and stretch out those hams, your quads, your chest and your back and your shoulder muscles. Also roll your head around to hit those kinks in your neck, of course. Also, you want to start incorporating as much movement into your day as you can. Back when I had an office gig, I would force myself once per hour to leave my desk and do something physical. I was kind of lucky in that one of my tasks was sending and receiving shipments to and from restaurants and from vendors. So I would do that kind of stuff every hour. Or I would create information packets at the photocopy machine, or even go for a quick walk if there was nothing physical for me to do in the office. And, one of the great things, I turned my desk into a standing desk. And right now, actually, while I'm recording this podcast, I'm at my standing desk at home. So how can you incorporate more movement into your life? I know that starting a new exercise regimen can be tough, so I'm going to make it simple for you. I want you to commit to just 10 minutes per day. And to tell you the truth, that's all I've committed to for the past year. 10 minutes is such a simple and easy task to accomplish. I've honestly put in at least 10 minutes per day for over a year now. This means that in the past 365 days, I've put in 3,650 hours at a minimum, or 60 hours of exercise. This is over 1 hour per week. What often happens is I end up exercising for between 15 to 30 minutes. Yesterday, I did it for just 10 minutes, but the day before that, when I was exercising with my boys, I exercised for 15 minutes. 2 days before that, I actually hit a full 30 minutes by going jogging, doing kettlebells, pull-ups, push-ups, and squats as well. So when you commit to small, easy-to-accomplish tasks like this, of just 10 minutes of exercise, you're more likely to get it done. Also, try to fit more movement into your daily life, like my examples of getting up from my desk every hour and doing something. I'm sure if you put some thought into it, you can find active things to do at work instead of sitting in front of the computer, typing on the keyboard, and moving the mouse all day. In the show notes, you'll find a video clip from a Joe Rogan podcast. He's talking to a physical trainer named Firas Zahabi. He's talking to him about exercise. Firas is discussing the importance of consistency over intensity in your training. It's a super enlightening video that I highly recommend you check out. And there's a saying that I love. I heard it a long time ago on a podcast, and this saying perfectly encapsulates eating better and moving more. Here's the saying: get lean in the kitchen and get strong in the gym. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/smartpokerstudy. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from, including my first 2 books, How to Study Poker Volumes 1 and 2. And my latest book, Preflop Online Poker, is now available. I recommend that you start your Audible trial by getting How to Study Poker Volume 1 for free, then buying Preflop Online Poker. And I think it's, they price the book based on how long it is, and I think they're selling it right now for $14.99 or maybe $15.99. But it's totally worth it. Once you learn from How to Study Poker Volume 1, that will help you get more out of Preflop Online Poker. Or, of course, you can wait for your second month till your credits start to pop up and use that second free credit to get Preflop Online Poker. So once again, go to audibletrial.com/smartpokerstudy to start your free trial and get my books. And a few other shoutouts today. Andreas Roeder purchased Poker Tracker 4 through my affiliate link. He went to smartpokerstudy.com/pokertracker4. Now he has a database of hands that he's going to go through to start exploiting or learning about his own play, but then also learning about his opponents and exploiting them. Poker Tracker 4 comes with incredible features like built-in HUDs, stat tracking, and all that stuff to help Andreas and all of you improve your online poker game. And speaking of HUDs, Josh Zielkowski and Mark Andrew both purchased my Smart HUD this past week. They went to smartpokerstudy.com/smarthud, and in thanks for purchasing the Smart HUD, I sent both of them a list of videos on Poker Tracker 4 and on learning the HUD. So they're taking that information. They've got a lot of study material, honestly. It's probably over like an hour and a half of videos to watch and things to practice utilizing the Smart HUD and with Poker Tracker 4. So they're getting a ton out of that right now, and hopefully they're using the HUD to dismantle their opponents. And lastly, I want to thank Liu Shang for purchasing the Expert Hand Reading webinar. He's utilizing that webinar to go through, his database of hands, do hand reading practice, learn how to look at a hand from pre-flop all the way through the flop, turn, and the river. And he's using this information to help himself make more positive EV decisions as he plays poker. So to get the Expert Hand Reading webinar for yourself, just go to the show notes page. There's a link right there at the bottom for you. Alrighty, back to class, poker people. So we've covered the first two aspects to improving your health, eating better and moving more. Now for sleeping more. For the longest time, at least in America, it's been a point of pride to say, I only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. Well, this leads to sleep deprivation. And sleep deprivation causes so many problems. First, it causes difficulty in thinking and concentration. Exactly what we don't want as poker players. It also causes weight gain, which is, hey, that's what we don't want when we're trying to eat healthy and lose weight, of course. Sleep deprivation also leads to poor memory. Again, that's antithetical to the poker player. It causes mood swings, so this will cause us to get angry a little bit more quickly and possibly go on tilt and lose a few buy-ins because of it. And a lack of sleep also causes a risk for diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure. Now, most people function best on 8 hours of sleep per night. Yours might differ. It might range from anywhere from 7 to 10 hours. It's up to you to figure out what your optimal sleep schedule is. And the best way to get more sleep is to do exactly what I just mentioned. Create a sleep schedule and commit to it. For me, I try to go to bed every night by 9:15 and I wake up every morning at 5:15. During the school year, it's really easy for me to follow this because it's the same time that I put my boys to bed. It's a little tougher in the summer now because we let them stay up a little bit later. But I try to hit the hay by 9:15 and my wife ends up putting them to bed just a little bit later on. Also, you want to cut out that cell phone use, the tablet, and computer use 1 hour before going to bed. The blue lights from these devices, they trick your mind into thinking it's still daytime, and that makes it harder to sleep. Also, you want to try to darken your room by closing the shades or covering any LED lights on your TV or satellite receivers. And while alcohol can make you sleepy, it's detrimental to the quality of your sleep. Try to minimize alcohol intake and don't drink any coffee after 2 or 3 p.m. as well. Now, for a lot of us, there are plenty of things that keep us up late at night, like studying or playing poker or even Netflix binging. You're going to have to figure out how to do the things you want to do and still get the sleep that you need. I know you want to be the best poker player that you can be, and sleeping properly so that your mind is functioning well should be one of your goals. And in the show notes, I have a link to a really good book written by Sean Stevenson. He has an incredible podcast all about living a healthy life, getting healthier in every aspect that we're talking about here and then some. But the book is called Sleep Smarter. It's kind of like the go-to book for figuring out how to get better sleep on a nightly basis. All right, the final part of this physical health improvement equation is getting some sun on a daily basis. Humans evolved over millions of years by being outside all the time. We rose with the sun, went outside, did our work, did our hunting, did our gathering, and then we went to bed a little after the moon rose, right? Well, we've gotten away from the sun as we spend all our time indoors or in our cars. Sun is good for your body and helps promote the production of vitamin D, serotonin, and also endorphins. These are all great things for our bodies. So here are some benefits of sun exposure. Number one is improved mood. So serotonin and endorphins help us to feel happier, and they also decrease depression. The second is that the sun promotes the production of melatonin, which helps you sleep better. Getting plenty of sun also lowers blood pressure and promotes stronger bones with all that vitamin D that it's causing our bodies to produce. And with some sun, you look a bit healthier when you got that color in your skin. All it takes is 10 to 20 minutes of direct sun exposure every day to see these benefits. So, how do you get more sun? Some of you might be thinking, geez, Sky, I work all day. I get home, have dinner with the kids, help them with their homework, and by the time we're done, the sun is already set. There's no time for sun. Well, I say to this, really? You can't fit in 10 to 20 minutes? So let's do the $10,000 challenge right now. If I gave you $10,000 for completing the task of getting 20 minutes of sun every day for a month, could you find a way to do it? If the answer is yes, and I know that the answer is yes, then you could do it right now for free. Here are some simple ideas to help you get started. Go for a walk on your lunch break. Most people have 30 minutes for lunch, right? Scarf down your healthy lunch in 10 minutes and use the remaining 20 to develop that Jack LaLanne face and arms. Take your 10-minute smoke breaks out in the sun. Don't stand in the shade under a tree or anything. Also, before you go to work, maybe like it's 7 a.m. and it being summer, the sun's already up. Go on a 20-minute walk with your dogs in your tank top. Sun's out, guns out, you know what I'm saying? Also, when you get home at 5:30 at night, sit outside for 30 minutes with your kids as they work on their homework and you're helping them out. And of course, on the weekends, put in some gardening or yard work time. Challenge! Here's my challenge to you for this episode. Make a plan to get yourself into better physical shape, no matter where you're at now. If you sleep only 6 hours, add 2 more hours for the next week and see how it affects you. Exercise twice per week at 30 minutes? Change this to 20 minutes per day and double your weekly output. Are you eating unhealthy foods? Make different food choices 1 meal period at a time, starting with breakfast. Is your skin as white as a golf ball? Get outside, sun those buns, and add color to your cheeks. Now it's your turn to take action and do something positive for your poker game.
Oh, that's it now. Get out there and be somebody. Go write a book.
This episode isn't complete until you head to the show notes page at www.smartpokerstudy.com/pod191. Go there for screenshots and links to everything discussed today and to discover ways in which you can support the podcast to keep me keeping on. Thank you so much for listening today. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe and leave a review within your favorite podcatching app. This is the best way, other than direct word of mouth, that you can help the show grow. If you could type or say the word Smart Poker Study, you can find me on Alexa, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. And of course, send me your questions, sky@smartpokerstudy.com. Alrighty, poker people, in the next episode, number 192, I'm going to hit you with another excerpt, or maybe even a full chapter from my latest book, Preflop Online Poker. Word of mouth is the best advertising, so thank you very much for sharing the show with other poker people. Your sharing and caring is what helps us grow. Until next time, study smart, play much, and make your next session the best one yet.